Ahoy there, trader, and welcome back. This is the Anti-Investor Stocks and Options Trading Podcast. Trading is hard, but let's make it easy. And today, I'm going to be breaking down some of the stock market's hardest challenges. Specifically, we're going to be looking at networking in trading and the collaborative edge in a solo sport. And while trading is often perceived as a solitary endeavour, the importance of networking in this area can't be overstated. So today, let's get that little bit more friendly with each other. So welcome to the Anti-Investor Stocks and Options Trading Podcast. We talk about what really works and consistently wins at trading the financial markets. My goal is to give you the right tools, the correct rules, the software to assist you, a community to support you, and if you'll allow me, to be a mentor to show you the right way so that you get real results in the fastest and smartest possible way. So with that said, let's dive right into today's episode. Connecting with fellow traders and industry. I've got my Sean Connery teeth in today. I thought I'd escaped those teeth for the last few episodes. But let's look at the different perceptives that can open up when you hang around with other like-minded people. Your network is your net worth, and so they say. It can play a crucial role in achieving long-term success. Again, and otherwise, you can go crazy, especially if you're the only person that is in your regular circle of friends that is interested in the financial markets. No one's interested. And certainly in my case, very few people in my regular friends and family circle, even to this day, are interested. So I've got to go and generate friendships and hang around with people in my industry so that I have that stimulus, so that I can get fresh ideas. And these days it's a little bit easier to get ideas and inspiration because there's, again, this fancy little thing called the internet, which does connect people. But when I first started out, it was a little bit difficult to find people who had these similar interests. So one thing that is hugely beneficial by being around other traders is you get exposed to new strategies or even new perspectives on the same strategy. Learning about different approaches and techniques from peers is very beneficial. You can also get market insights, again, different viewpoints, different perspectives. You can garner a broader understanding of the market dynamics through shared experiences. Again, the hive mind, is potentially more powerful than the individual mind. And I appreciate it's also a fine line between being influenced by others versus sharing ideas and experiences. Again, the road that I ended up going down, which I found that I thoroughly enjoy, is mentorship opportunities, both receiving and providing guidance for mutual growth. Again, I've spoken previously about being humble in trading, and while I do lead a group of traders who follow my short-term trading strategies, there are experts in the room in other areas. In one chap springs to mind whenever the subject of Elliott theory comes up. While I've got a broad stroke understanding, he's been investigating that field for 15-20 years, so I will defer to his experience because he's the expert in the room when it comes to Elliott. Just because I've been doing this and been successful and fortunate enough to have made a career out of trading the markets, it doesn't necessarily mean that I know everything about them. So, mentorship opportunities, again, both receiving and giving, you can have that guidance for mutual growth. And I suppose as well, if you're teaching people, your depth of understanding gets deeper because you have to explain it in quite literally layman's terms. And you have to understand the facets and the nuances to the point where someone else can understand it. And again, it just gives you a greater depth of understanding when you have to go and explain what you're doing to someone else. Now, networking as a factor for success, it can also break the isolation of trading. Again, trading is a solo sport, but that doesn't mean that you have to do it alone. It can be emotionally challenging, and again, being around like-minded people can offer you professional support. You can be having a bad day or a bad week in trading, but while you can ask the three questions, again, is it me, is it the market, is it the strategy? Just being around other people, they might go, yeah, the market's markets are absolutely crap for my strategy as well today. So it just reinforces and gives you perhaps a little bit of confidence to stay with it, because it's very easy to deviate from your regular routine when there's a little bit of a bumpy road to follow. It also keeps you aligned with, or networking does rather, aligned with latest trends and innovations in the markets. You can exchange valuable information that might not necessarily be publicly available. Again, some of the things that I've learned over the years have come from random conversations with traders. Again, I always think back to a rare lady trader back in the early noughties, and she was a hedge fund manager. She'd done most of the roles in the industry as such. She'd been a pit trader in a predominantly male-dominated environment. And I remember having a conversation with her once, and she literally marked something down on the back of a napkin and explained, because I was back then a breakout trader, still am for the most part on all my trend trading stuff. It all starts with a breakout. And I was explaining to her, this is how I've traded. I've been doing this for quite a few years now. It's pretty much what I've specialized in. And despite her being in the industry, technical analysis was a new concept for her, drawing the pattern down. And she went, oh, right, well, this is how the professionals do it. And she explained what essentially was a break-in strategy. What we might term as a false breakout, but it's how to trade a false breakout. And my head came off my shoulders. It was just such a simple concept of the opposite to a breakout is a break back into the consolidation. So you might have a legitimate, qualified breakout for all intents and purposes, but it can still fail even if it's qualified. I'm reluctant to kind of use those, but just for the purpose of this discussion. And it can still fail from the retail trader's perspective. But then if you consider the fact that the situation has changed, you can look at, well, what happens when price goes back inside the consolidation that you've identified? Can you trade the break in and trade from, say, the range high to the range low, or the range low to the range high? And that's become two of my money-making patterns that I trade. Again, just to detour slightly, buy the dip, sell the rally, buy range lows, sell range highs, the break of range highs to break of range lows. But the failure of the break of range highs or break of range lows can revert back to a range reversal. So buy range lows, sell range highs. So you can have this little hybrid between the two things. So again, it has become part of my routine of 6 money-making patterns that I look for when trend trading. Anyway, I got off the beaten track quite a bit this time. So other considerations to consider. You don't necessarily have to be face-to-face with people. You don't have to go and generate trust, build friendships, spend months garnering friendships, conversations before an information exchange can happen. You're listening to me on a podcast. I'm trying to share the benefits of my, just past 30 years experience now of trading the financial markets, and trying to, put all of these things into a logical structure in the podcast, on my websites, with the training programs, on books, and so on. And just trying to create a footprint of how I've viewed the markets and made it work for me, which may be beneficial for other people like you listening right now. So you can listen to podcasts, you can read books, you can go to YouTube and look at such things. So you can be around peers without having to network in the traditional sense, and you can get ideas from those. Again, one of the first ideas, I remember reading Reminiscence of a Stock Operator. Not Reminiscence of a Stock Operator, it was New Market Wizards. So I think it was the second of Jack Schwager's interview books. And there's an interview in there with a institutional bond trader. And it was just something about how they manage their position before they built a position. They'd test the trade, test the waters. And that became the basis for one of the strategies that I was using way back then, circa 2003, 2004. And again, it became the foundation stone for a strategy that was very, very successful at compounding into big long-term trending moves. And again, the principles of that I'd read in a book, an interview style book, are still with me to this day, many years later. So again, you don't have to be face to face and pressing the flesh and shaking hands and networking in the traditional sense. You can go and eavesdrop on conversations with podcasts, with interviews, with YouTube things. Again, there's plenty of information out there, and the access to information is, in many cases, like with this podcast, free. It doesn't cost you a penny other than a like and a follow, and maybe you send me an email just to say you've got something from this particular episode. So anyway, the role of social media and online communities in, again, YouTube, Facebook, podcasts, etc. The way that we can communicate, you can be a part of the community without having to be involved in the community, which for some people is great. The introverts of the world. And then while I do put myself out doing these things and interviewing, again, I am a talker. I'm not shy in it by any least, but it is quite exhausting having to be around a group of people and network in the traditional sense. I don't find that pleasurable. So for me personally, the internet has been wonderful in some alternative forms of, again, networking and being a part of peer groups for my own trading and development as well. And obviously I'm involved in mentorships and helping people along the path that I've already followed. So some non-conventional aspects, as we already said, engage in joint ventures, trading projects, research projects. We've got access to the interwebs, so we can quite literally network globally from different countries, different understandings, different languages, perspectives, backgrounds. You can get a wide variety of perspectives on the same thing. Again, newsletters, Substack just springs to mind. Again, whatever is relevant for how you want to be engaged in the networking with peers side of the discussion. Again, you can also look at cross-industry connections. Just because we're in the trading world doesn't mean that we can't find parallels. I very regularly compare what we're doing to the world of business as if you were running a bricks and mortar business. So you can find parallels between other professional fields. Again, this industry is compared with being a pilot or being a doctor. Certainly the learning curve can be quite lengthy and intensive before some people start to make it work. I'm of the viewpoint that as long as you've got a proven strategy, which I have, you don't necessarily need to know a lot to make it work. You just need to know what you need to know to make it work, and that's pretty much what I focus on. So it doesn't matter where you are on that spectrum, you don't need the 10-year learning curve. Again, horses for courses, and again, I'm sure we have had that discussion in the past between, is it a learned skill or are traders born? Anyway, networking, it's just simple socializing. It can be a strategic tool to develop yourself as a trader. It provides you with a wealth of resources, insights, and support by being around other like-minded individuals. And again, it's not just unique to the trading world. It is good practice in any venture or sporting business or sporting endeavor. So you engage with a community of like-minded individuals, and traders can uncover new strategies, new ideas, new facets. You can stay updated on market trends, have perspectives on market trends. You can maintain a path of conscious learning and improvement by doing this, and again, being around like-minded people. So this collaborative approach can be a key ingredient to the recipe to long-term success. And again, that is, looking back on my own career, one of the things that I've done was just being involved with small communities of traders, be it via YouTube, via podcasts, via newsletters, and obviously leading my own group of traders as well, has been a key to my own long-term success. So whatever you do, be involved in a trader community. So if you like what you've heard here today, be sure to follow and listen to the very first episode, which I touched on earlier, where I map out even the very first of several of my most profitable money-making strategies. And if you'd like to learn more about my training and mentorships, head over to antivestor.com, or you can shoot me a message to phil@antivestor.com, and let's start that conversation. As I always say, this time of the podcast, I've got a lot of time for serious traders, but what I do isn't right for everyone. I'll always put you off in the right direction. Just, describe what you're looking for, and if I can do it, I will, and if I can't, I'll point you off to a reliable and trustworthy resource. So that's all from me today. Have a wonderful day, and I'll speak to you at the same time next time. Toodaloo, trader. Keep in mind that futures, options on futures, stocks and stock option trading involve a degree of risk that may not be suitable for all investors. There is a risk of loss in every investment that you make, and it's your responsibility to assess the risks of your decisions. Past performance is no guarantee of future performance, and Antivesta provides educational information and does not provide financial advice.